Thanks everybody for joining this call, and we have a special guest, and that is Ray, the video guy. And I announced it in the email about some training. YouTube, everybody knows about YouTube, but being a specialist is something different. And I don't know who invested more time and is more specialized in YouTube than Ray, the video guy. So I feel very confident to have Ray live on the call to give you some training. And I wanted to ask you, are you ready for this training?
I know I am.
Are you all guys all see the tube colored screen from Ray? So give us 60 minutes training, and then we can go to the back to the TV watching the president's election.
Oh, that is the last thing I will be watching today. It hasn't even begun, and I've already had enough of that. But welcome, guys. I want to thank you for joining us today. I think we're going to have a little bit of fun here. And before we get started, I just want to make sure I'm going to go full screen here. So, Jack, if you don't mind, after I go full screen, I'll ask if everybody can see the screen, but I won't be able to see the answer. So if they say they cannot, just let me know. So I'm going to go full screen here. And there we go. So we are at full screen. So if everybody can see that, oh, actually, and it's actually letting me see the answer. So that's good. So if everyone can see that, just let me know. And if you can't see it, then definitely let me know so we can adjust that right away. But today we're going to be talking about a new product called Tube Caller. And what this is the ability to add click to call to your videos. And if you don't know what that is, basically what click to call is, if you've ever been on your mobile phone and you've gone to a website and they've got a button on the website that says call now or something similar, you click on it and your phone immediately dials the business, that's a click to call. And so what we've done is we've finally figured out how to apply this to a YouTube video so that, for instance, if somebody is out on the streets and they want to make a reservation for a restaurant, they're watching a video about a nice restaurant in the area, and in the middle of the restaurant video it says click here to call for a reservation. They can click that button, it'll immediately dial them on the phone, and they'll be able to set up a reservation. As you can imagine, that can be very, very useful, and so that's what click to call is. And again, we've finally figured out how to do this with YouTube, and so that's what we're going to talk about a little bit here today. Before we get too far into this, I want to at least let you know who I am. If you don't know me, my name is Ray Lane. I do go by Ray the Video Guy, so you may know me as that as well. And I actually come from the TV production world. So unlike a lot of people that are in the marketing world that have kind of stumbled into these things, I actually come from the production side. So I've worked on TV news, TV commercials. We worked on some network shows. I've done work with Montel Williams and a few other places in the Sci-Fi Channel. So I've been around quite a bit in the production world. And back a few years ago, I could kind of see that the traditional video that I was doing was just kind of starting to move to the web. And I knew right then and there that that was the direction we needed to go. And so even though we've been working with businesses for 15 years, we started to move over to this online stuff back about probably about 7 years ago. And at the time it was terrible stuff. I don't even think YouTube was hardly heard of at that point. And we were mostly using Real Player, but we were just starting to do video. And so ever since then, we've really started to focus on using the YouTube world and the online video world to help businesses to get more leads and sales. And we've worked with many local clients. We've worked with a lot of lawyers. We've also worked with companies, Albertsons, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. They're across the country. We've worked with some of their subsidiaries. We've also worked with some health companies that are across the country as well. And all of it based off of how to use YouTube to generate more leads and more sales. And so what we've come up with here is something new. And I call it Tube Caller. And the reason for that is because we can finally do what I call the biggest problem with YouTube marketing and YouTube videos, especially for local. And I assume, Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming most of these guys are working with local businesses and local video. Is that correct?
That's correct. We are
Beautiful.
all
Because
interested
that
in
is
local stuff.
truly, yeah, and that is truly where this training shines, because the biggest problem we have with YouTube videos is that what I call the CTA barrier. And what I mean by that is, if somebody's watching a video, let's say they're watching a video about a local pest control company, and the pest control company does everything they can in that video to say, hey, call me now. We've got, we're safe, we're friendly, we're effective, we'll come out tomorrow, we'll do everything you need. Just give us a call. Well, here's where the disconnect comes in, and this is the big problem with YouTube videos for these local businesses. The guy on the video now has to say, give me a call at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you as the viewer have to write this down or remember it. Or maybe, if you're on a desktop, it's a little easier, but if you're on a phone, it's a little tougher. Scroll down and find a link to his website in the description. And that causes a barrier that can really get people to drop off, because now you've got to remember that number. You got to flip over and try and make the phone call. You forget the number. You got to go back to YouTube. You got to listen again. And that makes it very difficult to turn a viewer into a customer in that first go. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to break down that call to action barrier and allow people that are watching a video to instantly get in touch with a business. And that's kind of how TubeCaller was born. What it does is it breaks down that barrier, and it helps the customers to find the businesses through YouTube videos much more easily. And to give you a little history of how this came about, because this is something that we've been trying to figure out for quite a while. Back a couple of years ago, YouTube added what they called external linking. And you may have seen this in YouTube videos. You may have used this in YouTube videos. This is where you can have an annotation on your video. Somebody can click the annotation and it'll take them back to your website. And this is a great function. It worked really well, and we saw massive increases in the amount of click-throughs from the videos to websites. It was great for opt-ins. It was great for direct sales. But the problem was, well, and there was actually a couple of problems. One, a lot of people were using mobile phones. And we all know right now more than 50% of all the video traffic on YouTube is actually with mobile phones now. The problem we had with YouTube was these annotations, although they looked pretty, they worked great on the desktop, they didn't work on mobile phones. So if you watched a video, you wouldn't even see the annotation to be able to click. So you were still stuck in either one of two scenarios. One, the person who produced the video didn't realize this and relied on that annotation and never gave you a call to action, or two, you were still stuck with them telling you the phone number and then hoping that you jumped in and made the phone call. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to figure out how we could fix this. In fact, I was literally getting messages every single week from people. Is there a way to turn those annotations into a click to a call? And unfortunately, there really wasn't, because one, we couldn't do the calling part, and two, it didn't work on mobile anyway. So fortunately, YouTube did make a few changes. And what they did was, and many of you may have seen this, they added what's called YouTube cards to videos. And if any of you have used or seen YouTube cards, let us know. Give us a heck yes in there if you've used YouTube cards, if you know what they are, because they're actually a pretty slick little feature that they've added to this. And what it is essentially it's a call to action in your video that allows a little graphical card to pop up that you can then click on. Now the graphical card, the cool thing about the graphical card in there is that it works on mobile. So if you're on your mobile phone, you'll be able to see the actual card on your phone. You'll be able to click on it, and based on the way it was set up, you'll be able to go to their website. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh there. I saw somebody posted, oh my gosh, Real Player. Yes, Real Player. It actually was used at one point. But the issue still was, even if your local business had these YouTube cards now, people could click to your website from the YouTube video, but you still had to hope that they would go to the website, find your phone number, then call your phone number. So there was still that multiple step. And the multiple step thing, you know, in marketing we talk about this all the time. The less steps people have to take to create an action, the more likely they're going to do that. So if they have to click the YouTube card, go to your website, find the phone number, and then dial the phone number, you're probably going to lose them at some point in there, or at least a good percentage of them you're going to lose at some point in time. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to figure out a way to increase that and remove those barriers so that people could jump right in. The problem was we were told you can't do it. It wasn't possible. Okay, so as we said, people were crying out for this ability to be able to do a click to call button in the YouTube videos, and we were told over and over again that unfortunately it couldn't be done. We found a programmer. He gave us a little bit of code. We put it in there, and it actually worked. This was only about a month and a half ago that this actually happened, that we finally figured this out, and I got really excited because I knew for the longest time people wanted this, and I knew it would be huge. So let me tell you a little bit about how this actually does work. So what it does is it uses the YouTube cards and it uses YouTube annotations. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the annotations only work on the desktop. So if you've got an annotation on your video and you want people to click to call, if they're on the desktop, they can click that annotation. But on the phones, you absolutely have to use this new YouTube cards feature. So you definitely want to learn a little bit about that, and that's what we do teach that inside there. So you learn everything about the YouTube cards. Now, the other part of this is we have to use a special code on your website. This is just a short little snippet of code, and all you have to do is drop it into your website, and when you do, automatically, as soon as people click that button on the YouTube video, it'll pop over, grab that code, and it'll immediately make the phone call. So it's very simple, and I know a lot of people get caught up on this whole idea of, oh, you have to add code, but it's very, very simple, especially if you're using WordPress. It's extremely simple. If you're not using WordPress, you just have to go into the code and drop it in there, which we show how to do that, but it's not very difficult. If you have a webmaster, he can do it extremely quickly for you.
Don't worry,
if you have WordPress,
everybody use WordPress. Local theme jack.
Yeah. Yep, yeah, if they're using local theme jack, it makes it very, very easy because all you have to do is put it into the text mode and drop the code in, and you're done. That's all you have to do. And once you do that, everything will start to work for you. Now, again, with the annotations, you're talking about the desktop. With the YouTube cards, that'll work on the desktop and the mobile phones. And the one thing I do want to mention, and this is something that's kind of important, the way that mobile phones view video is a little bit different than the desktop. If you notice, let's say you embed a video on your website. When you go to the website on your desktop, it just shows up in that little window and it just plays. When you go there with your phone and you hit play, you'll notice that the video pops full screen on your phone. And the reason for this is mobile phones actually grab the raw video and they display it full screen. This is why YouTube annotations didn't work on the mobile phones, because the phones themselves were taking over the video. So what happens is, and I'm sure most of you, how many of you have the YouTube app? I'm sure if you've got Android, it comes preloaded on there. If you've got iPhone, it used to come preloaded. Now it'll prompt you to download it. So I'm sure most of you have that. But if any of you have that YouTube app on your phone, let me know. I'd love to see how many of you actually have that, because it should be pretty much everybody. Most people should have that on there. But the YouTube cards only work on the YouTube app. And unfortunately, that's just a limitation of YouTube and a limitation of the phones themselves. So what happens is when somebody, let's say for instance, you've got your video and it's on page 1 of Google, when people are on their mobile phone, they click on the video, most people, that video will then open up in the YouTube app, which will then show it full screen. So the only limitation to this is if somebody has blocked the YouTube app or deleted it, then they won't see the YouTube cards. So it does have to be with the YouTube app, but as I said, it comes default on Android devices, and it automatically tries to get you to load it on the iPhone. So most people have that set up there. So that's how that works. So you have to have the YouTube app in order to see the cards. So that's how we work with both of those. So it works on mobile and on the desktop. So the big question is, and I don't know what kind of businesses you guys, yeah, most people, it looks like most people do use the, somebody doesn't even have a cell phone. That's interesting. I didn't know if anybody existed like that anymore. That's cool. But most people seem to have the YouTube app, which is awesome. So who does this help? This actually helps a lot of different types of businesses. Almost any YouTube, any business that does local is going to rely on the telephone. Whether it's a restaurant, real estate, service industries like plumbers, lawyers, doctors, all of those are going, yes, all of those are going to use the telephone as their main source of getting new people. So what we have here is we have the ability now for them to create content in video form, have the button in there, and have the automatic phone call made. Now the other businesses that actually this will help a lot is the pay-per-call business. Now if you don't know what pay-per-call is, not a big deal. Essentially it's like pay-per-click, except it deals with phone calls. Most of you probably don't have anything to do with that, but that is another great use for it. And the other one is if you sell products through like an MLM, a lot of those require, they use telephones to get a lot of that done. So it works really well there also. But the big thing here, of course, is the local businesses. And I'd love to know what types of businesses you guys actually tend to use. And I see somebody said they use a towing company. That's obviously a really good one because people are going to be looking up towing companies very much last minute and need that simple click to call. So that'll be good for that. But I'd love to hear what other companies you guys actually use. Somebody asked, Dennis asked what an MLM is. That's a multi-level marketing. So anybody who's selling, those health products and things like that, where you're trying to sell the business to people, pay the monthly fee and sell it to your friends and all that. So that's what an MLM is. So any type of business like that. And it looks like emergency roof repair. Yeah, that's one of the ones that we actually hammer pretty good. We love the emergency roof guys because that's a nice high-ticket item. Snow plowing, that's another one that's good. That's exciting to see that. I figured most of you guys would say doctors and lawyers and plumbers, so I'm glad to see some of the other businesses that you guys are doing because some of those guys tend to get left out sometimes with all this cool stuff.
I miss one,
So,
Ray. I really miss one. So, Edward, members, which niche you will tell now what you're going after? Does
yeah,
it
well,
work for auto repair?
absolutely. Auto repair is a big one, and especially like somebody mentioned, they do towing. They do towing services. Absolutely, those are huge for anything like this. Anytime you can break down that barrier, especially when somebody needs to call right now, that's a big thing.
Yes.
Plumbers, plumbers is a little bit tougher sometimes because people whose houses are flooding are not going to be taking the time to watch a video, but you definitely want to have it there, especially if they're doing something that's non-emergency related, because that'll be big.
So
You see car
let me
repair, auto
explain
repair.
again why auto repair is such a great niche, because I think Ray got it. So auto repair is a niche that when you have a problem, you call and you don't call 5 bits. You just want to get help. You have a problem.
Yep.
But the greatest thing about that niche is, like locksmith, you call one time and probably the next years you don't need them anymore. So with auto repair, your car need to have at least 2 times a year a service. So once you find a place what helped you well, you going back to them. So it's good for having instant and immediate action, and then also for repeating business. So it is just one of the best niche you can be in, and they are very loyal. I have um, clients for years, and a very nice clients too. So just wanted to share that. If you didn't get it, I hope now you got it.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great market to get into. And like I said, anything that requires a phone call, you can definitely adapt this to. I love the restaurant idea, and we've actually seen a ton of real estate people that have been coming out of the woodwork since we put this together, because they really want to take this to the real estate market, because that's a big one for phone calls. We love that one there. And I love the fact that you guys are asking so many questions. This is really fantastic. You guys are a very engaged audience, and I love that. So before we continue on with this, if you guys don't mind, and I know somebody even asked for this, I'm going to slip over to actual YouTube here for a minute, because I want to take a peek at YouTube and show you some of the stuff here. Can you guys see my YouTube channel here? I'm going to blow it up a little bit because it's a little bit small. So if you guys can see that, just let me know. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you, because one person asked an important question, is how do you connect the two of these together? And that really is the big thing here, because when it comes to YouTube marketing, many people will join YouTube, they'll set up an account, but they won't go through all the steps needed to really make the account work for you. And there's actually quite a few steps, because while it's easy to do, YouTube does give you a lot of steps you have to do. So what I've got here is I've got what I call my fake real estate channel. This is the one that I use in all my trainings. It's not a real company, but it's got a lot of videos, so they're getting hits. They're just not going anywhere, which is kind of ironic. But this is what we do a lot of the testing with. And so what I'm in here is I'm in the back end of YouTube. And as you can see here, if you click your button here and hit Creator Studio, that takes you to your back end, and you've got all these different options down here. And what we want to do with this is we want to go down to our channel options here, because the biggest thing that we have to do in order to add any of these things to YouTube is we have to become partner verified. And how many of you guys have a YouTube channel that's partner verified? I'd love to hear that if you've got a partner verified channel, because quite honestly, most people do not. It's pretty easy to do, and it looks like some people do. Awesome. Karen, Will, yes. Todd does not. All right, Todd, this is going to be cool for you then. You're gonna learn some cool stuff here. Many people do not go through this process. But what you want to do is you want to come to this channel section here, and we're already partner verified, so it doesn't show it. But when you come in here, there's going to be some options to enable the partner verification, and also to enable longer videos. There'll be a button for both of those. You can hit either button, and that will help you to get partner verified. Somebody just asked, Arlene asked, what does partner verified mean? Essentially what that means is you're phone verifying your account is essentially what you're doing. You're just letting them know that there's a real person behind this. So what you do here is you would come in, you would click this button that'll be up here, and when you do so, it'll ask you for your phone number. You put in your phone number, and then you'll be partner verified. And you'll notice, like you've got here, this is what it'll look like here, this button here, this is enable. So you'd click that, and it would ask you for your phone number. We're already partner verified, so I can't really show you that on this account, but very, very easy to do. And then once you do this, once you become partner verified, which only takes a couple of moments, you're going to come down here to this advanced tab. And this is where the magic really happens, because down here, you see here it says associated website. Let me see if I can blow this up just a little bit more here. This is where you're going to connect your personal website to your YouTube channel. And what that means is that, well, the funny thing, to go back in history, YouTube added this associated website thing a couple years ago, and nobody had any idea what the heck it was for. But for some reason, they had this option to associate your website with your YouTube channel. But when you did so, it didn't do anything. So, but now it does. So all you do is you would put in your website, in this case, Morgan County Real Estate, or Realtor, I believe it is, .com, and then you're going to hit the add button, and you can see here that it says success. Now the reason it says success is because I've already been through a couple of the other steps that are required for this. If we put in a different website, so for instance, if I put in raythevideoguy.com, which is my main site here, and I hit add, you'll see that it says pending. I know it's probably tough to see there. And the reason is because once you associate your website to your YouTube channel here, they want you to prove that you actually own the website. So for instance, you couldn't put google.com in here because you don't own it. So what you would do here is you would hit verify. And when we do so, that's going to take us to Webmaster Central. Okay, and what you have to do on Webmaster Central is just follow the instructions right on the page. It's going to ask you to download a small file, and you're just going to upload that file to your website. You can do that with any FTP program, or better yet, send it to your web guy. Once you do that, you can verify. It's going to tell me, oh, actually, in this one it said, all right, apparently I already had a code in there, so it's going to let me verify, so that's good. Once we're done verifying there, all we have to do is go back to YouTube. And now, oh, we lost our site there because I went back. We'll put it back in. Hit add, and now it says success. So that's all we have to do is download that, pop it into our website. For any of you that use any of the Webmaster tools, that file that you're downloading, it's identical to what you would do for using the Webmaster tools. So if you use the analytics from Google, it's the same type of file. You just download it and upload it to your website. I see we got a couple questions in here, so let me take a peek at this before we move on. Can you associate more than one website? Brian, that is a great question because the answer is yes. Most people, even YouTube experts, have no idea that this is possible. But as you can see, I've connected raythevideoguy.com to this real estate channel. If I hit remove and I come and I type in Ray's Bonuses, another one of my sites, and hit add, you'll see that it's already connected. So yes, you can actually connect more than one. All you have to do is hit this remove button. Don't be afraid of it because it doesn't actually remove the connection. It just removes the website from the box. So you can actually add more than one. This is really good, for instance, if you have one YouTube channel. So for instance, I had a YouTube channel back a while ago. It still exists, but I don't live there anymore. That was called Best Utah Businesses. And on that YouTube channel, we had all sorts of different videos. We had dentist videos and restaurant videos and doctor videos, etc. And so what we did was we were able to connect the video to all of these different people's websites through one channel. And we did that by hitting remove and then adding the next website. So it's very, very easy to do. But just don't be afraid of the word remove because it just removes the name out of the box. It doesn't remove the connection. And that's an important thing to remember there. So yes, you can do that. Brian, I'm glad you asked that, so we didn't forget to mention that. So, okay, so now we're going to get into, Johnny wants to know where we're going to put it on the website, and we'll show that in just a second here. And so I'm going to come back here. So once we've done this, once we've connected our YouTube channel to our website, we're now able to do all the fun things that we want to do with our videos. So if we come to a video here, I'm going to pull up my video manager. You can see we've got a bunch of videos in here. And let's see if I can guess which one of these does not have an annotation yet. We'll try this one here. And if it does, that's all right too. Okay, so we can see here we've got a YouTube video, and this does not have any annotations, nor does it have any YouTube cards. So we're going to show you how this works here. The annotations, if you've ever done this before, very, very simple. All you have to do is choose an annotation type. So in this case, we've created a little box here, and you could add some text that said call now, or whatever you want to put in there. And then you can decide on this timeline at the bottom how long you want this to run. If we wanted it to run throughout the entire video, we could do that. And so now if we come through here, you'll see that it shows up throughout the entire video. And then all we have to do is put in our associated website, or one of them. And if everything works, you can see it says preview link. So we've added that in there. Now, just so you guys understand this, you don't have to link to the main URL. So we could put in a page on the URL. So, you know, test one, So whatever it happened to be. So you can put in the URL and then a page, and that'll take people to whatever page you have. Because what we want to do with the calling is we want to create a page on our website that's some sort of contact page. Maybe it's just a copy of our normal contact page, and then drop the code on that page. That way, if, for instance, somebody, the click-to-call didn't work for some reason, they went back to the website and it didn't work, they've still got your phone number right there on the screen and your information, so they can still connect with you. But so that's what we do there, is we make a copy of the contact page to do that. So that's the basics of an annotation. And if we take a look at YouTube cards, same type of thing. With the YouTube cards, this is a little bit different because the cards have two parts to them. They've got a pop-up annotation like we just saw, which will pop up in the corner here and give a little message, and then they have the actual cards. So if we wanted to have the first one pop up, let's say 2 seconds in, we'd go to 2 seconds, hit Add Card, we can hit Link. This is where we would put in our website again, and it looks like we've already got one there. This one you can see already goes to the phone page. So I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to hit Next. And so now you can put in a title for this. So you could put call Morgan County, if I can type, call Morgan County Realty for more info. You can have a call to action that says click to call now. Okay, and the same for the teaser. We could put click here to call now. And then we can choose an image. And this is the actual YouTube card here. So this is the actual card image. And we'll see if we can pull something up here to drop in there. Now this is when the computer is going to run slow, right? Of course. All right. So we'll pretend this is our YouTube card. It's just a graphic here. So if we hit create, or actually hit open, you'll see that it pops in there. Obviously you want to have one that's a square, so it's not cutting it off. But for this case, we'll just throw that in there. And then we can hit create card. And so now it's a little tough to see here. In the top corner here, there's a little circle with an I in it. And that's our YouTube card button. If we move down the line here a little bit, there, now you can probably see it a little better. There's more contrast there. So what happens is during the video, as the video plays, and we'll go back here, we'll play it for 1 second. Okay, you'll see it says click here to call now. And when we click there, our little graphic pops up here that says, well, it says call Morgan. I must have goofed up there somehow. But when we click this button, what will happen is it'll pop over to our website for just a split second. And then we're on the desktop, so you can see here it tries to make a phone call. I'm on a Mac, so it pulls up FaceTime to make a phone call. If you're on a PC, it should pull up Skype if you have Skype connected. And that's how people can make phone calls on the PC.
Wow, this is amazing.
I mean, it's really incredible. It's much more so on the phone.
It is really amazing.
You know, and I'll tell you, on the phone, even 10 times better, just because of that. You know, you're on the road and you need to get that clicked really quickly. So let me double check here before we move on. I know we've got some questions here. So it always uses Skype. Not necessarily, Arthur. For most people, that's what it's going to use. Some people may not even have anything connected on their desktop. So, but most people, if you've got Skype, it's probably going to pop up Skype. There probably are other programs you can use as the default there instead. But most people, it's going to be Skype. And like I said, on the Mac, it's usually going to be FaceTime that's going to do that for you automatically there.
And if you view it on a mobile, it will just use your phone, not Skype.
Absolutely. Yep. If you're using your phone, it'll just give you that, you know, that little thing that says call this number and shows the number, and you just hit the call button.
Wow.
So it'll do that little pop-up. So very, very simple on the phone. On the desktop, it's basically trying to mimic making a phone call is what it's doing, and that's why it pulls up Skype for that. So, okay, we got a question here from Johnny that says, how do we locate the associated website after verification? I'm not sure exactly what you mean there. If you want to post that again, I'm not sure exactly what you mean there, Johnny, but we'll answer that if we can there. Todd, like a landing page, I'm assuming you mean the page that you're going to. It can be a landing page. It can be a blank page if you want to. What I've been teaching people to do is to send them to a page that has your contact information, just because you might as well have that information there. But it can be any page because if they're making the phone call, they're only going to see it for a split second. I only put it on a contact page in case something goes wrong. At least they have the information there. So it's kind of just a backup. Let's see. Who do we do? Okay, so what do we do if you go to add annotations and it does not follow and the rest of it got cut off there? So hold on, let me see if I can get that. Okay, it's not follow through. I mean the box or lower part that you fill. Okay, so if you're doing an annotation, and this will happen to you sometimes. If you go to add the annotation, and I assume this is what you mean if you try to put it in here and it's not letting you, what you want to do is the first thing you want to do is when you first set this up, there may be a blue bar kind of like this one right up here, and it'll say, do you want to enable annotations or external links on annotations? Make sure you click that enable button, and then sometimes it's instant, sometimes you may have to log out and log back into YouTube, but eventually, and when I say eventually, I'm talking within a couple of minutes, it should start to work. The big thing is make sure you put the www if that's how you connect it, because if I remove the www, you'll see that it tells me it's not a valid link anymore because we used a www in the actual setup originally. So make sure that you do follow that, because that's another thing that gets people once in a while, is we want to make sure we have it exactly like we did there. So that's the annotations. And let's see. Oh, we got a few more questions here, it looks like. They have to have, no, you don't, I think we already answered this, but you don't have to have Skype on your phone at all. That's only for the desktop, because the desktop obviously isn't a cell phone. So in order to make a phone call on a desktop, you have to have something that makes the phone call, and for most people that's Skype. All right, if you're going to do this for clients, do you have to install the code on their website? That is a great question, and the answer is both yes and no. And what I mean by that is you don't have to put it on their website. So for instance, you could put a page on, you could create your own website that's specifically for this particular purpose, or even just for any purpose really. Put the code on your website and it'll still work. I recommend, if you can, put it on their website, just because that way the client knows that when they click, they're going to that person's website. Again, it's a split second. They may not even notice, but if for some reason it doesn't work, at least they're on the client's website. But you definitely don't have to. One thing you can do is you could create a client landing page on your site. So in other words, a page on your site that's all about that particular client, and that way if for some reason it doesn't work, they've still got all that information, so it can definitely work that way as well. So you can really do either way. Does it work on the YouTube site? Would it work if you put that YouTube video on your website? Okay, if you embed the video on your website, it will definitely work on the desktop. In fact, even on Facebook, it'll work on the desktop. The problem that you run into is when you embed on your website, what happens is you click on the video. Most times it won't send them to the YouTube app. I think some phones it may, but for the most part it'll just open up the video, in which case the YouTube cards will not show up. So there is an issue with that where, and it's just a limitation of the cell phones and YouTube. If it takes them to the YouTube app, it will. If it tries to show it natively, then it won't. But of course, if you're embedding it on your own website, you don't need the click to call button because you're already there anyway. But that's just one little caveat with it, and hopefully I'm hoping at some point YouTube will be able to fix that issue. I mean, at least on Android they own the same platform, so you'd think they'd be able to work something out there. So hopefully that will change over time. I assume that similar to annotations, we can put cards at different times. Yes, and let me go back to the cards here just to show you this. The cards you can put at different times, but it is very different from the annotations. The annotations actually gave you a lot more control. With the YouTube cards, what you have here is the eye icon will be here throughout the whole video. So this will always be here. The only thing that's based on time is that little pop-up. So when that pop-up that says click here to call now pops up, that's what you can set. And what you can do is, for instance, we've got it coming in at 2 seconds, but we can have it pop up again over here just by adding another card. And you can add up to 5 cards per video. So at 5 different points in the video, you can have that pop up that says click here to call now, but the eye icon will always be there. So that they'll always have access to the cards, but 5 times during the video, they'll be given a call to action to click on it. So
Great.
that's how that works.
Great. I think
Yes.
you are aware of that. I think, and I think that if you explain you can add multiple cards on a video, it looks like I would do at least 3 times. So to remind them, hey, call now,
Absolutely.
call now, call now, because you see,
Yep.
it interrupt that video and say call now. Okay, the first time, oh, I'm not ready. Second time, I might. Third time, yes, I call. So I feel I would do three annotations for a minute video, just to have some
absolutely. And if it's a longer
interruption.
video, do 5. So definitely want to do that. And that's what we'll typically do. I'll just space it out. And the only time I'd change that spacing out would be if there's somebody in the video that is specifically talking about it, because what this does open up is this opens up the opportunity for somebody in the video to literally say, hey, if you want more information, and point to the corner and say, click this button right here and we'll get you the information you need. And that's what I do in a lot of my videos, is I will literally tell them to click that button in the video. And so
and
you can definitely...
the last card, I would say, hey, what are you waiting for?
Hey, dummy, pay attention.
This is so nice.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's been a lot of fun with this. It is very new, but the cool thing is we've actually had a number of people that have been using this for a little while now, and one particular person came up to me at an event recently, and he's like, I can't believe it. He goes, I added the click to call to my videos, and I saw a 20% increase in my income like instantly. And he was doing pay-per-call, so literally he was advertising videos that said click here to call, and then he's selling the calls off to local businesses. And so he saw an immediate increase in the number of calls that he was getting. So it was very, very cool. So I was glad to hear that, because being so new, having figured this out only 6 weeks ago, there's not a ton of data. We've got data on YouTube cards, which is actually very promising. We've got a ton of data on annotations. We haven't had enough time to have any real strong data for the click to call part of it yet. But the people that have used it have seen instant results, which is really exciting. And so let's see, we got a few more questions here. And is click to call in Google search or only in YouTube? That's a great question. If you can get your video to page 1 of Google, when people click on the Google video, it'll take them to the YouTube app, so you'll get the click to call right there as they go into the YouTube app. So technically it does work with both. Again, there's going to be a percentage of people that may not have the YouTube app installed, but for most people it'll be installed and they'll be ready to go. So you find that video on page 1 of Google, click on it, it's going to open it up in the YouTube app, they'll see the cards and they'll be able to call. So it's very, very slick stuff. Let's see, we got a few more questions here. So this is an update to Johnny's. Once we remove the associated website, YouTube won't show it in the setting. Correct. When you remove the associated website back on the other page, it'll remove it from that box, so you won't see it in there. But as you can see here, and we'll test it right now, if I hit Add Card, any of those websites that are connected with this should work perfectly fine. So if I put in the raise bonuses, you'll see that it'll accept that. If it wouldn't accept it, it would tell you already. If I change this and I put in the Ray the video guy, it'll still accept that. So you can use any of those afterwards. You won't see it in the box, but it'll still be connected, which is the cool thing. And quite honestly, that's why so many people don't realize you can do that, because it doesn't show it afterwards. So, all right. So let's see. Oh, thanks. Jeff just mentioned that he bought a microphone from me and loved it, so that was good. I'm glad you like that, Jeff. I use mine every day just about. So. All right, after verification, located the advanced areas for the website. Thanks, I'm good. Okay, good. Excellent. Glad to see that, Johnny. Is there a place where we can see all the URLs that we have verified on YouTube? There's really not. Once you do that, it's you just have to remember. The cool thing is, and in fact, I'll go back there for 1 second just because there's so many questions on that portion. If we go back here, once you put that website in there, and we come back to the advanced section here, every time you put in another website, so if we remove that, we go back, you can know right away if you already connected that one because it'll automatically work. So if you have any question, just paste it in there and it'll tell you whether you've connected it or not. Unfortunately, there's no way to just look them up. Now, the kind of cool thing about this is if you connect your website to this channel, if you create another channel for a different reason, there's a high probability that when you put in this website on the other channel, it'll automatically accept it just because it sees that code anyway. I'm not sure if it's meant to work that way, but for some reason it does, which is kind of cool. So you can use the same website on multiple channels without having to go through all the steps. Will it work in conjunction with tracking phone numbers? Absolutely. And if you guys don't mind, I know we're starting to get short on time here. A quick thing with tracking numbers, not only will this work really well with tracking numbers, but if you have, let's say, 5 different videos that you're testing, so maybe let's say you've got a lawyer, and you create 5 different videos for this lawyer, you could put 5 different tracking numbers and have a page on your website, so when they click the click to call on video number 1, it'll hit a certain page on your website and call tracking number 1. If they do video number 2, it'll go to a different page and call tracking number 2. And if we find out that the video number 3 sends the most calls, then we know that's the one to go with. So you can do some fun things like that. But yeah, tracking numbers absolutely work. In fact, in our program in the back end, we actually have Jack's tracking software that you can pick up there. So we've got a link to that. I'm sure probably many of you guys have that already. But if you don't, you can get that in there as well. So let's see. We got. Do we need a special YouTube channel or a standard one? Any YouTube channel should work fine as long as you're in good standing. Word of warning. There are some very dastardly people that love to go around and flag videos and get you into trouble. So just be aware of that. So you want to have a good, strong channel, but just be aware that somebody can come along and flag your videos, and if they do, YouTube has a notorious record of not fixing it very quickly. So just be prepared that if something like that ever happens, you want to be able to set up another channel very quickly. But yes, you can use a personal channel or you can use a business channel. I highly recommend you create a business channel, and the reason for that is if you create a business-related channel, and what I mean by that is if we come up to the top of YouTube here, you'll see that right here, this is my personal channel right here, Ray Lane, and then these are my business channels. And if we click on View All, you'll see that I've got a whole bunch of these business channels attached to my account. And so you want to create a business one. So this is where you would come in here and you'd come down here and you'd hit View All and then create a new channel under yours. And the reason you want to create a business one isn't specifically for the click to call, but that allows you to add other people to the channel. So for instance, if you create this one here, this Animate Your Logo channel here for a client, you could then give them access to it at the same time, so both of you would be able to access this with your own set of login and passwords, and that way they don't have to give you their personal login and password to their Gmail account. They can send you access to the channel, or vice versa. You can create the channel for them and then send them access to it, and then they'll have that, so when they're logged into their Gmail account, they'll have their business under here. And so you definitely want to go in that direction just for those reasons alone, and they give you a few extra tools for doing so, but it will work with any type of account. So Let's see, what other questions we have here? We have a gold mine. Yes, I certainly think we do, Will. I think this is a very good thing that people are going to be very excited about as things progress, especially because YouTube is putting a lot of effort into that little eye icon. So that's something that you're going to see a lot more of. And as people catch on, it's going to be even bigger. Would you use this for lead development by making a tourist info video so somebody's business? Yeah, you could definitely do that. And we've done some similar things in the past with tracking numbers and whatnot, sending people leads and then saying, hey, we've been sending you leads. You can definitely do that. It's a great way to do it. If you have 20 videos but all relate to the same website, do you only need to install the code one time? If they're all pointing to the same page, yes, just one time. If you wanted to, for instance, use multiple phone numbers, then you'd want to put the code on a different page with a different tracking number. But yeah, it's the same. And before we get too far here, and that's another thing we want to talk about here, is there are some other things we can do. A tube caller is made for people that are looking to make phone calls. But what we discovered was that once you can make phone calls, we created some special codes for click to Skype, click to email, click to text message, click to Google Maps, and of course clicks to your website in general, which is part of what you've already set up. And so what we did was,
I like that click to email.
Well, I'll tell you, the click to email is great, but the one that really gets me excited is the click to text message. And there's a couple of reasons for that. The reason I love the click to text message, and somebody brought up a roofer earlier, and I don't know how many of you guys work with contractors like roofers. They would much rather you text them a lot for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just because they're on the roof hammering nails. They seem to always tell me, you know, I want people to text me, and then I'll call them back.
Yeah, me too. So, if I'm in a task, I rather don't get interrupted. So I rather
absolutely
get the phone number in the text, and then when I'm ready, then I make the call. So I like that too.
Yeah, and this is where it gets really cool with the text messaging as well. If you do text campaigns such as opt-ins using text messaging, this is fantastic for it, because you could put a button in there that says, you know, opt into our list or something of that nature, have them click that, and it'll automatically, you know, set up a text, because typically what we do with those types of things is, you know, text happy to 12345. Well, now you can have them click a button and it'll already be going to 12345 and whatnot, and so you can do those opt-ins extremely easy with the YouTube videos now, which is a very, very nice feature. And then of course the other one that's very cool is the Google Maps, because you can actually do directions as well. So you would literally go to Google Maps, set up directions from, let's say, a landmark, and then you save that out as a shortened link, and now you put in the special Google Maps code with that link, and now the person can click a map button in the video and be popped over to a map automatically.
Wow.
Get directions or just find your location.
That is really bigger than I had expected.
It's really, really exciting, and you know, like I said, I'm loving it on so many different levels, because it's just dead useful for anybody doing local business. And the Skype one, you can do Skype to chat, you can do Skype to phone call, so that's another feature you can add in there. And the great thing about some of these other features is with the email, the Skype, the Google Maps, and the SMS, well, not so much the SMS, but the other ones, they're much more desktop friendly versus the phone call, which obviously the phone call is much more cell phone friendly. But the other ones are very friendly on the desktop, which means that, of course, you could run multiple videos and have one that's specific for people watching on a desktop and one that's specific for people on a phone. And then if you use YouTube ads, you could send all the ads for phones to one, all the ads that are on the desktop to the other, and kind of segment things out that way. So it's very, very good for people who are running ads. And if you're not running ads, you want to start learning that right away, because that is huge for local business. Absolutely. So how much do you think we should charge for this? That is a great question, and You know, it's a tough question for me, and I'll tell you why, because most of the time when I'm dealing with a lot of this local business stuff, I create these things and then sell the whole package. But what I say is think about how much time it takes you to set this up and how much you think that time is worth to you, and that's what you should charge. You know, because it's you know, if you think about it, a roofer, what's a roof cost these days? $30,000. You get them one phone call, you just made them $30,000. How much is that worth? You know, your time. I mean, that's worth quite a bit. So I would not undercharge this. Tough to say exactly because it depends on niche, it depends on location. But you know, you definitely want to charge a pretty good penny for this, I would think, because it can be very, very lucrative for them. So let's see, click to text, explain more. Yeah, essentially, and let me see if I can get back here. Now we're going to play the guessing game a little bit here. The click to text, and it's a little tough on the desktop because I don't have anything connected that does text messaging on my desktop right now. But if we can pull up the right video here, we've got one that specifically has that feature already enabled, so we can take a look at that. And it could be this one. Let's see if we guessed it right. No, we didn't. All right. In fact, you know what? It's probably going to be the newest ones. Oh, it's the one that says real estate buttons test. All right. Okay, so you can see what we have here is you can see click for directions popped up right here because we've got the YouTube card. But if we skip past this a little bit here, you can see that we've got this button right up here in the annotation that says click to text message. And what happens is if you've got a text message system on your desktop, when you click that, it's going to go to a page and pull up SMS texting. Now, I don't have anything to do text, so it doesn't do anything on mine. But all the other features, such as the maps, you can see when you click on that, it's going to pull up the map. And you see it's giving us, in this case, it's giving us directions to the White House, so we can see who's president. And again, for the email, if you click on the email one, it'll pop up the email here, so you can send an email message. So all of these are just built right into there. And the same thing with the Skype. We won't pull up Skype because I've got Skype turned off right now, and we don't want it to start making all sorts of noises. But that's how you add all these features in here. And again, you can do this with the cards here. So what I've got is, in this case, I've got it where it pops up at a different point in time for each of these. So at one point it pops up to do a text. And that's something we should mention too, is if you're going to do more than one thing, you can actually have, you know, at 5 seconds it could say click here to call. At 30 seconds it could say click here to send an email. At 50 seconds it could say click here to send a text message, and then at the end it could say click here to get directions. So you can do different things at different points with the cards, and they're all accessible, but when it reaches a certain point, the current card is going to be at the top. So when it says click here to get directions, the top card will be the Google map. When it hits the one that says send an email, this will be at the top of the list of cards. So but you'll have access to any of these at any time that they pop that open. There's a lot of cool stuff there. And so could we charge monthly? You could absolutely charge. In fact, I want you to charge $1 million every month if you can get it. I mean, good luck getting that. But yeah, I mean, absolutely get as much as you can for everything you can. If you can get people to pay you monthly to keep setting that up, absolutely. You definitely want to do that. Yeah, and Lenoa says two flaggers have gotten her before, or him before. I'm sorry, I'm not sure who that is there. Yeah, they've gotten me before too, unfortunately. Usually in the past, when they've done that, you sent a message to YouTube and they fixed it sometimes within a couple minutes. But I've had some more recently where somebody did that, and a month later they haven't even responded. So you know, it can be a little scary. So just be prepared to create another one if you have to. Looks like a modern ViewBix. Yeah, it kind of is like that. YouTube is still a little bit limited, so we kind of have to, you know, figure these things out. Whereas ViewBix was much more straightforward, of course. But we liked it. We liked ViewBix, and ViewBix is still pretty good. What is a YouTube flagger? That's somebody who just goes around. For instance, if I go to watch a video, I can flag it as being inappropriate. What that's meant to be for is, you know, let's say somebody posts a video and it's got, you know, racism in it. You can flag it to get it taken off YouTube as being inappropriate. Well, people will come along and just flag your video because they're in competition with you. So they've got a restaurant, they see your restaurant video, they'll flag you. And unfortunately, YouTube has this habit of taking action first and then asking questions later, which is too bad. So you just have to be careful with that. What is the minimum you should charge for TubeCaller?
Ray, do you have
sorry, go ahead.
training about this, how to set up in detail?
Yep, we absolutely do, and we should get back to that here, and we'll pop that up here. We've got the training set up here, and you can actually pick this up. We've got it at a very special low price for the next week, and you can get it at jackhoppman.com/tube-caller, and it goes through all the stuff we just talked about, but in greater detail, and of course the magic code that you need is in there so that you can copy and paste it in. And a kind of cool thing is another friend of mine actually came to me yesterday and said, hey, you've got this code here, but you can also use this code. So for various people, for those that are expert coders, and I know that's probably most of you are not, because I'm not, but for those of you that are expert coders, you have a choice of 2 different types of code. For most of us, you can choose either one. It doesn't matter. It does the same thing. But some people that are more advanced prefer certain types of code, so we've put 2 different kinds in there. But yeah, just grab whichever code, you pop it in there, and you're good. And if you jump in there, there are some bonuses that we have as well, and we've got some really cool bonuses that can definitely help you. We've got graphics that help you to create the YouTube cards and create the buttons. We've also got, and this is something very interesting, we've actually got, for those of you, I don't know how many of you are video editors or how many of you are trying to learn video editing, but we actually have come up with a video editor that you can use completely free of charge to set up your videos. And we literally looked for 2 years to try and find a video editor, because what we found was people can learn all this YouTube stuff, but they can't do the basics to set their video up in the first place to be able to use on there. So we wanted to find a solution for people, and we actually found a video editing program, and it works on Mac, PC, and even Linux, that's completely free of charge that you can use, and it has some very advanced features. We also put training in there as well, and like I said, we've got the graphics to help you create the cards. So there's everything that you need to get started with this at jackhoppman.com/tube-caller, tube-caller, just so you get that properly in there. And you can pick that up. We've got that going right now for $14 for the next, I think till next Monday. I think the $14 is good too. So you can jump in and get it at that price. And that's.
I'm amazed. So I know the trend. Can you go 2 slides back?
Absolutely. We can go
2
back
slides.
anywhere
Yeah.
we want.
Are you covering all those elements?
The front end is the click to call,
Yeah.
but for those that want to do the Skype, the email, the Google Maps, the text messaging, we have that in what I call Tube Communicator, and that also is only $14. So for $28 you get both,
Wow.
and you'll be able to do all these different things.
Wow.
And I did an interview the other day, and somebody said, "Well, why are you selling this so cheap? It's quite valuable."
Yeah,
And I'll tell you
agree.
exactly why. The reason I'm selling this as cheap as I am is because I want as many people to start doing this as humanly possible, because we want everybody to have this, because it's only going to benefit us as users when people have these on their videos. And so the more marketers we can get to start doing this, the more videos that will be available that have this feature. The more videos that have this feature, the more the general public will understand how this feature works and start using it.
I want to
So
learn.
that's why we want to
I
get
want
this
to
as
learn
out
the
there as
click
much as
text.
possible. So say that again.
I really want to learn this. I'm going to learn the click to text, how to do it. It is
Yeah,
cool.
it's a great feature. Very, very easy to do. Once you have it down, very simple.
So let's, how much time do you think you get it down? How much, when do you say, 2 hours you can do it, or?
Oh yeah, I would say within 2 hours you can definitely have everything set up and going. The first time you do it, it'll take a little longer because you're trying to go through all the steps and figure it out a little bit. Once you've done it once, keep the videos for reference. Make sure you get the reference there. But once you do it, it'll become second nature, and it's very simple to do. The hardest part, quite honestly, is the setting up of your YouTube channel. That's going to be the most difficult part of it, and it's not even nothing in that process is difficult, but it's a lot of weird little steps they make you take.
Do
So
you
they make you
do you
jump through
cover
some
that
hoops.
in the training?
Absolutely, yes. We teach you exactly what to do there to set that up.
Wow.
And it's a lot of what we basically so basically what we showed here when we were in the YouTube, that's kind of all you need to do to set it up. So it's not overly difficult. It's just a handful of steps that, quite frankly, they don't really teach people how to do. That's the weird part. So
So
there's a,
that is I don't want to set you up, okay, but probably Google is going to make some updates around this. Are you planning to keep this up to date?
Absolutely. And the cool thing about this is this shouldn't really be affected by much. Because we're not doing any sort of hack or anything like that. All we're doing is using the features that they've provided and added the code in the back end. So as far as we could tell, and we've scoured through all of their documents and everything, there's nothing that breaks the terms of service or anything like that. So we should be good with that. But of course, I use this stuff, so absolutely, if there's ever a change, I am going to be the first one on it because I'm the one using it the most.
Do you have a
And
Facebook group or so that if I have questions we can ask?
absolutely. Yep, we do. It's facebook.com/groups/tubecaller.
But
So very simple to get in there.
yeah, but of course you only want to have members in it, correct?
That is true. However, if somebody wants to sneak in there to learn more, I'm certainly not going to fight them too hard.
It's not like my AdWords training. That's
It's
paid
all
membership.
education inside there. So, but the cool thing about the group is that people are just in there sharing ideas, and yeah, and actually, the cool thing about the group, or the sad thing about the group is that even though we've had lots and lots of people buy, only a percentage of them join the Facebook group, and I've already posted some follow-up videos in there based on people's questions. So it really behooves people to get into the Facebook group because we do put some cool stuff in there.
So who is in? Enter yes or no. So give me an idea.
And if you say no, give us your address. We'll hunt you down. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Actually, I like to see the no's too. Because then I know what the objection is.
So it looks like we're getting some yeses in there. That's awesome.
And so most of you got it already yesterday. Wow. I only have to send one email and all you guys see this. That's that's great. Okay, so I saw a couple of no's. Can those no's answer why? What is the problem? What do we? I think everybody has one video, not? So I I'm amazed. Are you too?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, most people do. They've got videos already, so it's very easy to upgrade it. And actually, here's something that we should probably bring up that we didn't mention is with the YouTube cards. The cool thing about those is we can change them. And so with the annotations, you can kind of change them to an extent, but with the YouTube cards, you can literally change the card out. And so, for instance, let's say you're a coffee shop and you've got a YouTube card in there. You could have the YouTube card that says, call here for a 10% discount, and they can call in, or whatever it happens to be. Well, next month, maybe you've got the Halloween special. And so now you can put a card in there that's more Halloween themed and say, call us now to get the 25% off your Halloween purchase or whatever it happens to be. So those are completely swappable, and you can do all sorts of different things. You can test out different offers and just kind of see what works best for you, do monthly changes, and that's what's really cool about the cards is the fact that you can change and swap those out.
So the nice thing of that idea is that you come up now with something that you can offer maintenance. If a company has monthly specials, you can update those cards with that monthly special and charge for it.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so that is something you can do. That when we talked about the monthly, you could be doing that exact. You could be offering a service to change those every month, offering new offers and things like that. And looks like we got a response on that. Adrian says we're learning too much stuff. You scared me with the YouTube account.
I know.
Perfect.
Technical things, I know. Arlene, you are an AdWords, so that's your priority one, okay?
And
Don't
just so you
change
know,
that priority.
And just so you know, as far as being perfect, when I say, when you say it's got to be set up perfect, it's very easy. It's just a handful of steps. It's not difficult at all. Believe me, you can do it, and it just works. It's just a matter of knowing what the steps are. It's becoming a partner, which is just clicking a button and putting in your cell phone, and they'll send you a code. You phone verify, then you're a partner. Once you're a partner, you add your website, drop in the code, and you're good to go. So it's not very difficult. Like I said, it's just hoops you have to jump through, but none of them are very difficult. And of course, if you join the Facebook group, everybody in there would be glad to help make sure you get it done properly. So it's not a problem. I've actually literally gone into people's website or YouTube channels and done this for them because they were having issues trying to figure it out.
Ray, can you demo the membership site without sharing a lot of secrets or not? Can you show them what they get?
Yes. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Of course, I don't have it already opened. Let's see if I can remember we got
You
our
must
Halloween
have one login. I use RoboForm. I would never been able to log in everything what I have. Never.
Let's see here. Now I'm trying to remember. See, I don't normally use
the Mac.
Chrome for this.
Okay.
I usually use Safari, but I had shut it down because I was using Chrome for the demonstration. Oh, all right. Let me pull up Safari and see if we can do that. Sorry.
You see?
Watching the sausage getting made here.
Now I let you work. But I think if I buy something, I like to know what I get.
You can see like every video that I had open before is going to pop open now. So, all right, there we go. So let's see, members, right?
You are the video guy. It's not fake.
That is true. You've got way too many things open too. All right, close your eyes, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. You can't see it anyway. So let's go over here, and we'll click this happy button, and now we'll log myself in here to the actual account. Oops. All right, so here is the actual inside of the account, and you can see here we break it down into just a handful of very easy to follow steps. You can download the PDF, which is right here. This gives you all the information that you need as far as the code that you're going to add.
So you have also PDF instructions and video, correct?
Yes, and the main reason, it's kind of funny, I was going to put the code in here, but the problem is when I dropped the code in here, it tried to make a phone call instead. So we had to put it in a PDF. So you've got the introduction, then you've got the section on preparing your YouTube channel. So this teaches you all the stuff about setting up your channel. This is the website section, which shows you how to use the magic code in your website. And this is the YouTube cards portion, which teaches you all about how to use the YouTube cards. And then the final one is how to use the annotations, and that's kind of like a bonus one, because like I said, with the click to call, you're probably going to want to stick with the YouTube cards, but you can use annotations as well. So we put that in there. And of course, we got our extra resources here, which have our graphics. This is our bonuses here with the video editor, the graphics, some backgrounds, and some music, and some video slides that you can use. We've also got a special here from Brett, who put that in here as well. So you get a special from him, and of course, everybody has to put the Video SEO Firestorm in their launch. I think it's a joke now. So you got all those fun things in there as well as bonuses. And then right here we've got Tube Communicator, and this is the upsell. Now, unfortunately, it's going to tell me that I don't have access. But, oh, yeah, actually, it does show you what's here, though. So you can see you got the introduction, you got the click to Skype information, the click to email, the click to text, and the click to location, which is the maps. So all of that's in there. And it builds off of what you learned in TubeCaller. So you're going to learn all the basic setup in TubeCaller, and then this is all the specialized stuff that you're going to add into
And
that.
where
So
is the
it's very
Facebook
simple.
link?
Say that again?
The Facebook link, is that on the homepage?
It's right here.
On the
actually, it's in both places. It's here and here.
Okay.
And of course, you'll get an email with that in it as well. So it's on every
that is worth the price only. That you can ask Ray some questions.
And sadly, I hang out on Facebook about 10 hours a day.
Yeah, and you guys know I don't. Because
somebody wants to know what the other upsell is.
I want to have some work done.
The final upsell here is what I did was I created a combination of two of my courses that I had released before the TubeCaller stuff existed. And what it is it's two in-depth courses, one on the YouTube cards and one on the annotations. And so what this one does is you learn all sorts of cool stuff you can do with the YouTube cards and the annotations, such as, for instance, we teach you how to edit your videos and add animated buttons into your videos that are then clickable inside YouTube, so you can really do some fun stuff with it.
Wow.
So it's just a much more in-depth course on some of the other cool things.
This is much more than you told us in the beginning, you know that?
Absolutely. And the cool thing is it looks kind of scary because you got all these videos here, but some of these things you'll already have learned in here anyway. So as far as like setting up your YouTube channel, you don't need to do that again because you've already done it. So it's in there because it's part of the course, but you've already learned it, so you can skip some of the things in there as well. And so let's see, we got any more questions?
Who doesn't have the link? Some are on mobile, so everybody has the link.
I think we can paste it in here, right? There we go. Send it to everybody. And so somebody asked, where is the video editor? The video editor is in the back end here on this resources and bonus page. This button right here will send you to a page that has all the different downloads. So you'll be able to pick up all of these. It'll ask you for a name and password. It'll ask you for a name and email. Just put in. It's not preset. Just any name and email will work to get you in there. It just logs you so that we know who's getting in there. And then you'll be able to download all of those. It'll just give you a list of each of the downloads. So it's just protected download links. So that's how you get that. And Karen says she got all three. Awesome. I'm glad you did. And of course, make sure you get into that Facebook group so we can, if you're not already there, you might already be. And let's see, any more questions?
Of course,
Tom, I
Richard,
appreciate
the
that.
recording will be on jackhopman.com for 1 week. And then
Beautiful.
go to the membership. But the special price is 1 week.
You know, we got a good question, not a question, but a good statement that leads into a question. John mentions, he says, it won't matter if you rank on your video on Google. You know, I'll tell you, we do everything we can to rank on Google just because why not? But to be perfectly honest with you, I've moved so far in the direction of advertising with YouTube now instead, because it ends up costing about the same as, you know, doing all those other things that you do to get it ranked anyway. And you get traffic instantly, and it's very, very targeted. So we love to just do ads now. We do try to get it on Google. We definitely do. But we find that just running ads absolutely kicks butt with this kind of stuff. So let's see.
Okay.
Will says it's easy. It is easy. Like I said, that YouTube puts you through the ringer on all the things you got to do, but it is very easy. None of the steps are very hard.
So Ray, I think we are now 90 minutes on the call, and I think that's pretty long. And I think everybody has the link, and I think everybody sees the value. The only question what I have for my members and to Ray, do we want to have Ray at certain point back? Let's say in a month, and we do some more general YouTube training. Enter yes or no.
Oh,
Ray,
good. I was waiting
enter
for all the
yes or
notes.
no. Without you, we don't have any training.
And Will wants to know how you do ads on YouTube. Maybe that's something we can talk about at some point.
Yes,
I
you
I
read my
still don't
mind.
consider myself an expert on it, but you know, I'm still a learner on that. But I know a lot of the experts, and I get to ask them a lot of questions, so I get to pick up a lot of those things. But yeah, if you get in and you jump in on the Facebook group, Will, we can definitely start some threads about that. We can probably even set up a little webinar with Justin Sardi, who is a real expert on this stuff. So there's a lot of great things. In fact, I put inside the course, actually, we put a link to one of Justin's programs that helps you with YouTube advertising. So you can check that out in there as well. And that's at the bottom here. It just gives you, it helps you to find advertising opportunities with YouTube. So there's a lot of cool stuff there. But yeah, jump into the Facebook group. If we start a discussion on that, maybe we'll set up a webinar with him and kind of figure all that out for you. But absolutely, YouTube ads is the way to go, no doubt about it.
So I want to thank everybody for joining this training. I have enjoyed a lot and hope you did too. And everybody has the link, so it's up to you to take action. Only action will get you success. And let's see if we can get Ray back in about a month. Then you might have some more questions about tube color, and we will come up with a nice topic to learn you more, to teach you more about YouTube. So thanks everybody. Thanks Ray. I really enjoyed your training.
Oh, thanks. And sorry we went so far over.
No, it's as long as it's got recorded, we are fine. So
I was worried I wouldn't have enough material to go a whole hour, but yeah, we definitely did that. So I appreciate everybody asking questions. Of course, if you have more questions, Ray the Video Guy on Facebook, you'll be able to find me. You can ask any questions you want, and be glad to answer them for you.
So thank everybody, and see you next Sunday if you are in the AdWords local AdWords Academy training, and other next week Tuesday in the regular local marketing training. Thank you so much.